All right, we're moving on to lesson 2, powers and exponents. So we'll see power is another word for exponent, and you can say it's like raised to the third power, but it's also an exponent of 3. So just some practice here. This is negative 3 squared, or negative 3 times negative 3. Negative times a negative is a positive, and we get 9. This one's negative 3 cubed, or to the third power. So basically it's the same answer as here, times another negative 3, negative 27. This one's the same thing, 4 of them. We have, so we can do the third power times a negative 3. Negative times a negative is a positive 81. And then we have 5 of them. So I'm going to use the 4, 81, times another negative 3. Positive times a negative is a negative 243, if I have all those numbers memorized correctly. Notice here we have a positive number, then a negative number, a positive number, and a negative number. The exponent has something to do with that. An even exponent will be positive. A negative exponent, when you have a negative starter, is a negative. So that's kind of a cool pattern to look out for. We have a couple vocab words here that you can fill out on your vocab sheet when you get to second, or you can pause the video. A product of repeated factors can be expressed as using a power. That is using a power and a base. So the base is the common factor. So that's the big number on the bottom. The exponent is how many times that number is repeated. So you can read these in a certain way up to a certain power. This would be 3 to the first power. I call this 3 squared when it's 3 to the second power, 3 cubed. And then that doesn't get any fancy after that. It's just 3 squared, 3 cubed, 3 to the 4th, 3 to the 5th, 3 to the 6th. And then they get, when you don't know how many 3's, you might call it 3 to the nth power. So down here we're going to start rewriting numbers using powers. So I always do, I try to do the smaller number first and then the larger number, or when we have variables, we'll do the variable second. So this is negative 2, there's 3 of them, so it's negative 2 cubed, times 3 to the 4th power, because there's 4 of them. We could put that in our calculator and we could get the answer, but we're just going to leave it like that. And number 2, sophisticated mathematicians will put them in alphabetical order. 2 A's, so A squared. 3 B's, so B cubed. Notice I didn't use parentheses here. I don't know why we don't do that, but as mathematicians, we just get away from using the parentheses. We use them with numbers, but for some reason we use them less with letters. In the letter A, we have 4 1/2, so 1/2 to the 4th power. And that's a little different than writing it like this. This notation would be 1 to the 4th power. We don't want that. We want the whole thing to the 4th power. That's why I put it in parentheses. This one, 4 cubed times 5 squared, or you could put it in parentheses. Another okay notation is this one. LMN, so M comes first, M cubed, N squared. So that would be in alphabetical order. Moving on to here, we're going to use our calculator here to help us. In a fraction, evaluate the numerator and denominator separately. That's a good hint. And then you can rewrite that answer as a fraction. So for example, this is not saying just 2 to the 4th, but 3 to the 4th as well. So we're going to do negative 2 to the 4th, and then we'll do 3 to the 4th. There's going to be 4 negatives, so I know that's going to be positive. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. So that's going to be a numerator of 16, and 3 to the 4th, if you don't know that, you can type in your calculator 3, then there's a caret button right here, caret button 4, and you get 81. So it would be 81. Now this one can be simplified. Take a 2 out, or no it can't, I lied. It cannot be simplified. Box that, that's our final answer. 4 to the 4th, if you don't know that one in your head, type in your calculator. 256. Some of these numbers are going to get ugly, so we're just going to use our calculator. This is 6 negatives. I know that that's an even number, so then my answer is going to be positive, so I can put 2 to the 6th in there, and I get 64. If it was an odd exponent, I would just keep the negative out front. This one, we can rewrite this as 1 cubed over 5 cubed. 1 times 1 times 1, still 1. 5 times 5 times 5, 125. Moving on to the back. The deck of a skateboard has an area of about 2 to the 5th times 7 square inches. What's the area? So they want us to actually do the problem. So we just type in our calculator, 2 to the 5th times 7. So it's 32 times 7, which we ended up getting 224. Word problems need to be labeled, so it would be square inches, or you could write out square inches. We can also evaluate this one. This one's asking about the area of the school basketball court. So 2 cubed is 8. 8 times 3 times 5 squared is 25 times 7. 8 times 3 times 25 times 7 is 4,200 square feet this time. So feet squared or square feet. All right, so another little hint that I like to do when I see letters and I have values for those letters, when letters have a value, I rewrite the problem and plug and chug. Something I learned at your age. So I just plug in the value and chug out the answer. So a squared would be 3 squared plus 5 to the 4th. I know that this is 9 plus 625. 9 plus 625 is 634. Done. Now this one is in parentheses, so we're going to do that first. PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S. So 3 minus 5, quantity squared. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2, or 4. Plugging in a different value here, c cubed would be negative 4 to the 3rd, keeping the negative 4 inside the parentheses because it belongs to the c. And then d squared, or 9 squared. This is going to be a negative 64 plus 81, which is really just the same as 81 minus 64, which gives me 17. Couple more here. C plus D would be negative 4 plus 9, quantity cubed. Negative 4 plus 9 is really 9 minus 4. 5 cubed is 125. And we have a little trickier problem. And there we go. D cubed would be 9 cubed minus C squared would be negative 4 squared minus 2. Put this extra set of parentheses because it's the negative 4 belongs to the C. Negative 4 times negative 4, exponents first inside the parentheses, is 16 minus 2. Oh, jeez. And then 9 cubed is 243. So 243 minus 14 would be 229, I think. Might want to verify that. Sweet. Moving on. This is the same stuff. So these would just be plug and chug. So if you got it, you can stop. If you want to keep going, you can keep going. Excuse me. R minus S cubed plus R squared. Negative 3 minus negative 4. All in parentheses. All of that cubed plus negative 3 squared. Wow, goofy. So when two negatives are together, minus minus becomes plus plus. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. 1 cubed plus negative 3 times itself would be 9. 1 plus 9 is 10. A squared times b to the 6th. So, fraction. 1/2 squared times 2 to the 6th. This is 1 squared, which is 1. 2 squared, which is 4. Times 2 to the 6th. I don't know what that one is. 2 to the 6th is 64. So a fourth of 64 is 16. This one is just replacing the empty space with a greater than, less than, or equal to make it true. You can make an estimate first. I know that this is 25. This looks nasty, but we can do it. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 squared is 16. 16 plus 12 is 28, which is greater than 25. This one, 3 to the 4th, a little faster than the other side, 81. 5 plus 49 plus 3 to the 3rd, 27. So this would be 40, 50, 60, 65, 72, 81. Equal to 81. Awesome. Now this one's kind of interesting. 1/2 to the 4th, 1/4 to the half. 1 to the 4th is 1. 2 to the 4th is 16. 1 squared is 1. 4 squared is 16. Also equal. Kind of fun. Remember that if you only live once, you only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough.